Hello everyone, this is Freyja Inanna here in Costa Rica at the beautiful Inanna Sanctuary. And I was feeling to reach out to you all today and speak about creating peace, healing, and opportunity in a time of chaos and fear. There's so much fear in the world right now, so much chaos being created not only through this virus that is now become a pandemic and going throughout the world and the uncertainty and fear around that, but also with what's going on with government and has been for some time, and it's now like what's going on with the virus is actually magnifying that as well. And there's just so much going on with the fear that appears to be disempowering on the surface, and it's causing this social distancing, this isolation, and so many people are feeling isolated and disconnected. And if we can use this time as an opportunity to really, really go deep within ourselves, as well as reaching out and creating connection, even though it seems more difficult, but we can use this as an opportunity to really create a deeper connection with loved ones and really truly a deep connection with ourselves on a level that we haven't maybe been able to before. Perhaps you've wanted to take the time and opportunity to create deep healing in your life and didn't feel like you had the time for that. So now is the time. It's like it's being pushed upon us in a way, and it's changing our lives in so many ways, and some of them are very uncomfortable. And so if we really take this opportunity to connect more with ourselves, one way of doing this is really go and take a deep look on how is it, what's your go-to response in these kinds of situations of chaos and fear in your life, in the world, in family, like wherever it is. It's probably very similar. Do you immediately feed into the fear? Do you immediately take that as your first go-to? As the fear become overwhelming? Or do you dive in and start doing research and start trying to uncover the truth? Or do you discount what's going on and like go, well, that's bullshit, and or do you just create a resolve within yourself to not allow that to control your life and move through the fear? There are so many different ways that people can respond, and some of them can be very disempowering, some of them can be very empowering, depending on which response we choose in life, which is often like there's no judgment in this. Often it's a fear-based trauma response. Like when fear comes up, our go-to might be based on past trauma, past beliefs about ourselves. And so it's really uncovering and making evident that which still needs to be healed. So if we take a look at this and really go deep into this and find out what is it that is our go-to response, what is our automatic reaction? Are we in reaction? Are we proactive in creating something powerful from this without allowing it to be what controls our life? And yes, there are things outside of our control, whether we can travel or things like this. So much is being influenced. It's how we respond to it and what we do with that opportunity that really matters. And it might be helpful to look at this through a psychosomatic therapy perspective, where everything that's going on in our lives, whether it's like physical manifestation on our body or the disease, the dis-ease in our body that's created by a particular emotional state of being. So there's an emotional basis for whatever goes on in our lives. even including like maybe breaking an arm or a leg or whatever, you can look at that and energetically, whatever was going on emotionally kind of tells a story. And so when we look at viral infections and we look at this pandemic from a mass consciousness perspective, from the collective, and you look at viral infection, which the emotional basis for that is a feeling of being at their mercy. They have feelings of being under the influence of malevolent forces and being weak and helpless. It may reflect the vulnerability feelings that accompany times and processes of great change. And how much of that has been going on in the world in the last few years, and especially right now with this pandemic going on, but going on in the years leading up to this. So having this feeling like with government changes of being under the influence of malevolent forces and what's going on underneath all of that, stuff that's being hidden, and that feeling of being weak and not being able to do anything. I mean, people are even feeling like that their votes don't count in an election because of the manipulation that's going on. So it's definitely a feeling of vulnerability going on in this world, and great change is happening. So look at that, and it's the exact picture for this viral infection that has now become a worldwide pandemic. And there's also a fear of attack from others, and a fear of taking in life fully. And it's like people are literally holding their breath to see what happens. They're only gasping for breath. They're not breathing in life fully and living life fully. There's so many people just in fear, and the tendency in fear is to not breathe, to make yourself small, to hide, to hope that if you're invisible, then nothing bad will happen. They have a strong experience of lack of support and protection. They have the experience that the very worst is about to happen to them. Doesn't that sound about right now? And there's a good deal of internal conflict, confusion, and susceptibilities to suggestion, especially from the world of agreement or the group mind or statistical proofs. So look at what's going on. So many people are just running with whatever story that the major news media outlets are putting out, and they're going into this fear. It's like this, the commodity of fear is used as a means to control. And I'm not saying that we shouldn't take this virus seriously or that we shouldn't do the social distancing, but there is a big difference between using caution and care and wisdom in the social distancing. I mean, you look at South Korea, they've done an amazing job of social distancing without shutting down their country and affecting their economic basis to the extent that it's going to take years to recover from. They've done an amazing job, and they have the second lowest death rate from the virus in the world, just next to Germany. So it's possible to use wisdom without the kinds of overreaching control and taking away of freedoms that we're seeing going on in other countries. So and this is creating a huge fear. So I mean, really, yes, change has been needed for a long time, and one of the really good things I'm seeing is that there is a coming together of certain groups of people, some communities forming. But when you look at this susceptibility to suggestion, there are conspiracy theories on one hand, and the ones who are going like that we have to do everything that the government says and the CDC says, and the WHO says, and we have to, and this extreme fear and panic that's going on. There's two extremes here, and really the truth is probably very convoluted and somewhere in the middle. So, and in this psychosomatic therapy evaluation here, it's like this is a product of a severely untrustworthy parenting or government aim, arising out of a deeply fearful family. And there's so much fear that's going on. And when you take looking at this on the individual level as well as the collective level, it really, really fits. So another thing that's really important right now is the fact that diseases of the lungs, such as this COVID-19, which really intensely focuses its influence on the lungs. And some people have very mild symptoms or none at all. But for the ones who does get, who do experience a severe illness, it's very much an illness of the lungs. And the lungs store grief. They hold grief. And so when you look at this, then we are, as a collective and as individuals, moving through a period of grieving. And this is grieving the old way of being, which is not ever going to be the same. There's so much change going on in the world, and has been for the last few years. And this is accelerating it. And so people are going through these stages of grieving. And it's possible to be experiencing multiple stages at the same time. And it's also important to realize that we cannot skip steps. If we try to skip steps, then we get stuck. And we're seeing this happening. And so it's important to have the compassion and the love for ourselves and for others, no matter what path or belief that they're choosing to embrace around this what's going on in the world right now, or what's going on with this pandemic. Whether it's the people who are saying, you know, I'm young, I'm healthy, or this is not even real, this is made up to get control of and take our freedoms away. Whether it's that, which is in varying states of denial, as is people who are saying that the virus is completely real and doing whatever they said. There are states of denial going on here, and people not wanting to accept either one or the other, and or they're saying, oh, this is bullshit, I shouldn't have to self-isolate. This is a stage of denial, and this is a part of the grieving process. So if we can have compassion for these people and not fall into this place of attacking each other, this is going to help us move through this so much quickly. And to have compassion and love for those who are in fear, those who are the elderly, who do get hit harder with this, those who have family members who are elderly, or who they themselves or their family members have immune system dysfunction, which, you know, this is serious for them. And so if we can hold them in compassion, and each person can hold love and compassion for themselves and allow themselves to move through this grieving, because we're all experiencing it at some level, because there is such a shift that's happening. And even when the end results, it could be much, much better. I mean, we're moving toward a shift that's going to bring the global consciousness, the collective, up and heal ourselves and Mother Earth. And we just have to. And so all of this is contributing to change. And it's still a grieving process. We still have to grieve the old to make way for the new. And as long as we're holding on to that old, it's not allowing the new to move forward within us. And we must heal it within ourselves first. So if you're feeling like you don't know what to do with this, or where to go, or looking for ideas of how you can create healing in your life and to move forward, reach out. I'm happy to have a conversation with you about possibilities. So please look at this and move through this, looking for the opportunities, looking for what you can affect, because we're actually so powerful in ways that we can affect other people's lives, we can affect our own lives, and in doing so, affect the collective. And I'm seeing some beautiful communities being created out of this. I'm seeing communities of people coming together from across the world in different places and offering some to give and others to receive that are in need, and they're doing it from a distance. So we're actually becoming more and more connected all the time through this experience. We're actually seeing how we can, how connected we are because of this virus. I mean, it's going from place to place, from country to country. We're so connected. So let's connect on the levels that actually raise our vibration as well, and that create the gratitude and the love and connectedness that actually inspires a well-working immune system, and being able to help each other in any ways that we can to empower each other. So do reach out if you're feeling inspired to, and sending each and every one of you so much love and gratitude for showing up in this world. Love you.